Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel for a brand new Let's Renovate Riverview. I am so excited to be sharing this one with you guys. And I don't know if you guys remember, but about 3 months ago, I wrote on the community tab, the pixel thirst is real for this next Let's Renovate Riverview. But you probably don't remember because, like I said, it was 3 months ago. And Brandon Austria Lagas, I think that's how you say it, guessed either Hank Breckenridge or George Dean. And I think he meant Hal Breckenridge. And so you got it right, Brandon. Hal Breckenridge. I'm showing him some plum love, and I've just fixed his eyes up. He just had the saddest puppy dog eyes, and he is so cute. He's such a hottie patati when I am finished with him. But you guys can let me know what you think of his plum love after the little makeover. But I didn't know a lot about Hal Breckenridge before I read about him on his wiki page. So he's got a little biography here, and it says, Hal Breckenridge doesn't want to settle down. He has the coolest job in town, a semi-sweet pad. You better believe it's gonna get sweeter after I get my hands on it. And the looks to melt an iceberg, or at least that's what he thinks. So the rest of his biography goes, Hal Breckenridge is a local womanizer living in Riverview. Hal doesn't want to settle down. He is notable for his commitment issues and seems rather conceited, though he does not have the snob trait. He has 2 points in the logic and fishing skills and 1 in the athletic skill. Being a coward, it is odd that he would be in the law enforcement career as it requires bravery. It is possible he chose this career for the allure and attraction, or possibly to work on overcoming his cowardice. Now, besides the coward part, does he sound like anyone else we know? Oh yes, you guessed it. He is just like Don Lothario. In fact, I feel like him and Don Lothario, even though they're not friends, George Dean is his best friend, but I feel like Hal and Don would like learn off of each other, and they'd go out on the town and they'd just be creeps maybe. But Don would be creepier because Don's a Lothario. But anyway, back to Hal. So his traits are flirty, great kisser, commitment issues, he's a coward and a schmoozer, and his lifetime wish is heartbreaker. His favorites are Latin, cheesesteak, and red. Now I just have to put this out there right now. I'm not a big fan of red, and so I struggle when I try to decorate with it, and I struggled when I tried to incorporate it into his outfits, but I did the best that I possibly could. Now we're just gonna snatch his nose up real good and make him look all cute. I gave him some dimples. I don't know if you guys noticed that there, but yeah, I just gave him some little dimples because I am a sucker for dimples. And to me, Hal looks all sweet and innocent and unassuming. Maybe with the makeover, I made him look a little bit more like a boy. You guys know the type of boys that I'm talking about. But those puppy dog eyes just had me. I fixed him up a little bit, and now I'm giving him a little bit of a beard, some facial hair, because he had a soul patch to begin with. So I did want to give him some facial hair. And then we're also going to give him some body hair because there's just something so manly and masculine about having body hair. Look at it. And he's got a little happy trail. So now onto the hair. I do need to go male CC hair shopping because I feel like I always go through the same options. We need a little bit more here, so I'm gonna do that at some point. I just need to do an overall hair CC shopping video because I need more options. There's nothing wrong with having more options, but I'm going to go through everything that I've got in my game, including stuff that is EA content, but of course I go with a custom hairstyle, and I can't remember which one I go for. I actually made over Hal back when I wrote that post, so 3 months ago I made over Hal. So it has been quite some time since he has been gracing my screen and staring at me with those beautiful gray eyes of his. And I think I darkened his hair color up just a skosh, just changed it a little bit, but look at him. Oh goodness, be still my beating heart. I struggled a little bit with his clothes, but you know, what's new there? I think I went with I went with Diesel. A Diesel sweatshirt, because to me, he's just sort of cool, casual, and laid back. And if him and Don were to hang out, Don would definitely take the reins. And then I got rid of those flares because they were just hideous. And I gave him some nice jeans I think I did go with university jeans for his bottoms for his everyday Ursuladecay outfit. So I think I'm gonna love you and leave you guys. Before I go, the last thing I want to say before we get to his house is that his home was probably once a garage owned by the Ivanov family, and the designs match similarly to their own place's designs. That makes no sense, but I think what Wikipedia here is trying to say is that the designs for the Ivanov family and also the garage apartment, which I renamed the garage, are very, very similar, but not anymore. But anyway, I'm gonna love you and leave you guys with some music. I will pick up with you guys when we get to the renovation. So what did y'all think of Hal's makeover? Let me know down below. Did I show him enough plum love? Let me know. But anyway, here we are renovating his garage bachelor pad, and I did a number on it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I changed things up a little bit, and I wanted to take it back to like it was actually a car auto body shop. So the only difference to the floor plan that you're gonna see is that I've created a bump out in the back and then also created a deck in the front, but I wanted it to make it seem like it was an old auto body shop. And I had a what is it called, an inspiration picture that I was kind of looking at when I was trying to decide how to do the roof line here on the left side. I'll pop it up on the screen if I can find it again, and it's obviously not an exact replica, but that is what I had in my mind when I was doing this. So it is going to be a little bit different. Where the outside space was originally, I've added another deck, so that's probably another addition that I have added that kind of deviates away from the original floor plan that was there, but I think it works. You guys can let me know what you guys think. I know some people are going to be like, this is awful, you've gone like way too far with this, but I really love how this turned out. And what I decided to do was keep the left side an actual garage, and then I turned the right side into a little bit of a man cave, the man cave that Hal here deserves. Like, I feel like Don Lothario would be really jealous of Hal's new bachelor pad, because it is pretty smexy, if I do say so myself. I mean, there's no sauna like I put in Don Lothario's home, but it just looks amazing. And the other thing that I was surprised about with Hal living in sort of a garage apartment was that he isn't a vehicle enthusiast. So if you didn't want to move Hal back into this house would be really good for a vehicle enthusiast, because I did end up putting in the fixer-upper car from Roaring Heights under that addition that I've created, where there's now a new deck. So I think it would be great to have a vehicle enthusiast in this one bedroom bachelor pad, where you can bring back all the little simmies and woo them to your heart's content. And so here I am doing the floor plan, and I've switched things up quite a bit, and I'm going to get rid of all of this hideous wallpaper, like zebra wall print on the walls. That's not sexy. That just, like, I don't know, for some reason it reminds me of like 70s porn, something you'd find on the walls of a 70s porn or a 70s porn video. Like, why? That's not sexy. I don't want zebras on my wall when I'm trying to get down with the get down. It's just not going to put me in the mood. So I'm going to chop and change the outside quite a bit. I thought I'd go with brick at first, but then with the inspiration picture, I went with this distressed brick. And it's on my little panel of colors that I've chosen. So I wanted to go with the distressed brick. I think that's from a store set. I couldn't tell you which one. I may pop it on the screen if I remember to look it up and see which store set it came from. But I've been using that a lot lately. I did use that recently in the bookery, and then I think I've used it somewhere else. I really just love this wallpaper, but it took me a while to figure out which panels match up to which. So I didn't do that on camera because it is a little bit tedious matching everything up, but I really just love that wallpaper, and it gives that old kind of distressed look that I was going for, something you would see in a very old auto body shop. But this is the shape, and I am in love with it. So this is where the original outside area was for Hal's house, and this is where I'm gonna end up putting in the Roaring Heights the Roaring Heights fixer-upper car, just because I put in a gate and I thought you could sort of wheel in fixer-upper cars and then fix them up and then sell them if you want. And this is also be a good lot if you wanted to like sell cars from your house. I don't know if that's possible. Is that possible in The Sims 3? I can't remember if you can like sell cars and have a car shop on your home lot with maybe the Savvy Seller rugs. That might work. That could be a lot of fun. So at first I was going to go with the double parking spaces, but then I ended up just having one. Hal does have a big lemon, but when I moved him out, obviously he took his big lemon with him. So you can move him back in, put his big lemon back in the garage. But I have a feeling with this house, with this upgrade, because I think it's an upgrade, with this upgrade, Hal's gonna want to get a flashier car, a car that he could drive around town in and, you know, pick up some Sims. I just love how this turned out. It's so different from what I normally do when it comes to building in general, but also this series. I try my hardest to stick to the same sort of style when I'm doing these Let's Renovate Riverviews. I think the only time, actually, I can't really remember a time that I've deviated from a specific style. Maybe Don Lothario's house, I deviated a little bit, but this is like quite the deviation, because if you guys remember, I mean, it's changed so much, but if you guys remember, the roof and the front of the house, of this house, was just so incredibly boring. It was flat, there was no architectural details, and I wanted to make it look interesting. So although it looks quite a bit bigger than what it was originally, the only difference is that the garage is out one tile width back towards the backyard, and then so that made for the dining rooms above that, and that made the dining room space a little bit larger, but you'll see when we get there. So I thought I would give him a little bit of a man cave. So that's the items that I'm placing on now. That's the room that we are working on now. And I struggled a little bit because there's not a lot of space down here for the pool table. I also put a bar, and then I think I did this off camera, but I end up putting a darts board. And then of course there's a radio, but I just thought this would be a good place for Hal to come down and chill after a long shift at work, after, you know, he's been being a coward and running away from the criminals and not actually arresting them. So I just really love this space. This is one of my favorite spaces in the house. And then where that door is underneath the stairs that go upstairs, I actually ended up putting in another full bathroom. So this house is now 1 bedroom, 2 bathrooms, because I thought it made more sense, because I sectioned off the bathroom upstairs, so it is a master and ensuite. So he's got quite the master suite upstairs, and it does look beautiful. So like I said, I do struggle with the color red, but I tried to make sure that I had red everywhere because it is Hal's favorite color. I like to give Sims what they like, incorporate their favorites if I can. So I did do that. downstairs, I think, and then there's a lot of red upstairs, which I actually do like the reds that I used upstairs, but like I said, not a big fan. So I paired a lot of brick, a lot of concrete, and I think I did a distressed wood backsplash upstairs, but I can't remember. It's been about a month since I've actually done this, or maybe it's less than a month. I think maybe I worked on this at the beginning of September, because it was a struggle. Like, I would think that I had a layout that I liked, and then I would just bulldoze it. And I cannot tell you how many times I bulldozed Hal's house here. It was so hard to figure out what I wanted to do, how I wanted it to look, but I think it looks so much better, and it is so much different. So here we are working on the kitchen area, and he's got a chef's kitchen. Like, he's probably not a cook. I mean, he doesn't have any cooking skills. However, he could impress some other Sims that he's bringing back to his place if he just learned how to cook. Because I don't know about you guys, but the way to my heart is through my stomach. Like, buy me a steak, a nice medium rare filet mignon, and I will love you forever. I love steak so much. So, you know, Hal could get in here, he could practice his cooking skills and just really impress any Sims that he decides to bring back here. Even his like dude friends or his dude Sim friends, he could impress them there. And then the little bump out area that you guys are seeing that's not decorated at the moment, that is going to be the dining room. I wanted to keep everything really open like it was before. It was pretty open before, to be honest with you guys, but I think this layout just works so much better. Of course, I've got an open fireplace in there, and it just looks so good. And for once, I actually kept the chimney, is it the chimney breast or the fire? I'm going to call it, it's not a fire pole, but I kept that on the outside. I usually get rid of those because most of the times they stick up to the high heavens, but I kept it on this house because it just really worked with the height of the walls and how far up I went. But anyway, here's the little dining room area, and I used some things from Diesel. I tried to keep the store content to a minimum. At the moment, I think the only store content thing that I can see is the chair in the living room, and then also the outside wall coverings for the right side of the house. I think that's it. That's what I want to say. So it can be easily replaceable. I think like a really nice brick would look good on the outside if you guys don't have that wallpaper, but I highly recommend going to get it if it is there individually, because like I said, I cannot remember which set it came with, but I will look it up, and I'll either have popped it back when I was talking about it originally, or I'll pop it up here now, just so you guys have a little idea of what I've used in this house. Now I was going to put a microwave. I don't think I managed to fit a microwave in here, so he's definitely going to need to learn how to cook. And I struggled with the layout of the kitchen for quite some time. It was really difficult for me to figure out, and for some reason I was thinking about using those curtains, but those curtains are awful. So I changed the curtains up, and here we are working on his bedroom, his little shag pad, his romantic boudoir. This is where all the magic happens, and he's surrounded by windows. So maybe Hal here is a little bit of an exhibitionist, because I don't know if you guys remember, if you guys have ever been in this house in Riverview, but facing the bed were a crap ton of mirrors. Nobody puts mirrors in front of their bed unless, you know, they want to get real freaking naughty. So I decided to put them behind the bed, and unfortunately we can't put mirrors on the ceiling in The Sims 3, because I feel like Hal would be the type of person that would have mirrors on the ceiling, which is kind of really gross. Anyway, his master bedroom's done, and I'm just laying out his master bathroom. Oh my god, did you guys hear that? His master bathroom. I sounded like a sheep or a goat there. That was a little bit weird. But when we have these really long videos, sometimes my words just struggle to come out, and so we just have to go with it. We just have to go with the flow. So I laid this out on camera. I don't typically do bathrooms on camera, but I thought, why the heck not, so you guys can see it. I was gonna go for a double vanity, But then I decided one sink is enough, and he's got everything that he needs. Now, I did do a little walk-in closet for him, but I'm not sure if that works. I play tested most of this space, so there is a dresser in the actual bedroom part, in case you guys are worried about that. But I've got a serious question. Does anybody actually use dressers when they play The Sims, or do you guys just use cheats and go into cast? Because I cannot remember the last time I had one of my Sims use a dresser. It's been a while. Actually, yeah, I don't even know. It just doesn't come to mind. Now, this deck, which is his own little private deck, reminds me of the deck. I'm pretty sure Don Lothario had a hot tub on his deck in The Sims 2. I can't quite remember, but I had to extend it because my tester Sims could not get to the hot tub because they're stupid. So I did extend that a little bit, and it still looks good from the outside, so I'm not upset at all. But we made it 3 tiles wide instead of 2 tiles wide. And then because he is an officer of the law, I did put a chess table because I do believe that in the law enforcement career, they do need logic. So I put that out on the front deck. And then just really quickly before I talk about this backyard, which I've moved from the side and actually made it a proper backyard, those, what are they called? Lounge chairs, those sectionals that I used upstairs on his private deck off of the front of his bedroom. I've never used those before, and they're from 70s, 80s, and 90s stuff pack, which y'all know my favorite chair is from that pack. I'm kind of in love with those sectionals, so I was really happy to be able to use those. And then I've created a nice little barbecuing area, which is off of his sort of man cave, so he could come out, put some brisket on the barbecue and hang out and just have a jolly old good time. Now this is going to change slightly. I cannot remember if I did it on camera, but I do actually end up putting an outdoor fireplace out here just for vibes. There's no seating in front of it except for the table. I think I changed the table out for something a little bit smaller, but I just thought I put in a fireplace because it looks cool, and who doesn't like an outdoor fireplace? So that's the little barbecue area, and then we are going to put out some activities to be done in the backyard. Obviously, we've got to have a keg so that he can throw some keg parties if he wants to. I was trying to fit in the fire pit, the bonfire pit, I think it's called. I can't remember. I was trying to fit that in, but there was just no way. It was too close to the fence, and I could just see that going up in flames if it was real life. So I settled on the ping pong juice pong table, which is also a fun activity. So I feel like there could be some really cool parties out here for Hal. Like, move over, Don Lothario. Hal Breckenridge's place is the place to be. And I've also put a frisbee, a kicky bag, and also a football. And then I did put a fire pit. So there's a lot going on in the backyard, but I think it just really works, especially for a bachelor and somebody who likes to entertain and all sorts of guests. So here we are doing the recoloring, and I went for a black pool table. I've never used a black pool table before, but I thought it just worked with the space, and I'm gonna end up darkening the walls. Again, I went with a lot of exposed brickwork, a lot of blacks, pops of red, and a little bit of blue here and there, but I'm actually just really in love with this. Like, I think I was talking in another one of my videos where I was saying that I was going through a dark phase. This is the build that I was talking about, where everything's like really, really dark, but I think it really works for a bachelor pad. And then I've used this sofa, and it's also from the store. I think you can get it on the store still, and my thinking was that maybe originally this was upstairs, although it wasn't. He had some really hideous purple patterned sofas upstairs, but my thinking was that this was the old sofa that was upstairs. It's a little bit worn, a little bit weathered, so he's brought it down to his man cave, and then I went for more chic and sleek upstairs. So I'm actually really surprised that I'm doing this little bathroom on camera, but it is just a very simple bathroom to go in, have a quick shower, maybe do a little hide the sausage, you know, whatever Hal wants to do in that bathroom. I just thought I would put that in there, and I believe I have recolored the outdoor area, and so I'm working on the backyard now. And just using those mixes of patterns there, you've got a red chair. I thought I would throw that in there. And yeah, so I had so much fun doing this. Let me know if this is a little bit out there for you guys, because like I said, I did change it up a little bit. It doesn't look anything like the original, even though I only extended the right side of the build by 1 tile in the back and then about 3 in the front, but it completely changed like the face of it, and I love it. But I really want to know honestly what you guys think down below in the comments. So you can see I've got the outdoor fireplace, and then I'm going to work on the barbecue area. I went for a little smaller chair, or a smaller table and chair set, just so you can get to the fireplace. So yeah, I just think this would be a really cool space to hang out. Like, I would come to a party if the backyard looked like this. Could you imagine, like, if you were RSVPing to a party that you were invited to and be like, what does your backyard look like before I accept or reject? That is high level snobbishness. But anyway, how are we? How is life been? I know I asked you guys that on Monday, but I always want to know what you guys have been up to, what's new. A lot can change in a couple of days. Like, for instance, over here in the UK, we've had new restrictions put in for lockdown. We're not in lockdown. I'm not going to call it lockdown because we're not in lockdown, but there's new restrictions that could possibly last for about 6 months. So that's crazy. And if we don't get things under control here, we could go back into a lockdown. So that's a little bit scary, but it'll give me the opportunity to get back in shape and lose the weight that I've gained recently because the pubs have been open. So yeah, I'm going to blame it on the pubs. So speaking of working out, actually, before I came on to do my voiceover, I'd had a little yoga session with work and it was lovely. But you guys, I cannot tell you how uncoordinated I am. I am so I have no balance whatsoever. My little legs were screaming at me and it just wasn't a cute look. It just wasn't cute at all. But luckily I didn't have my camera on because I feel like the instructor would have been laughing at me because it was bad. I could just feel myself not balancing and I just looked like a joke. But hopefully if I keep it up, I will be more flexible. I will be able to balance better. But do any of you guys do yoga? Or I used to be really big into Pilates when I lived in the States, and I used to do something called the bar method, and I absolutely loved the bar method to the point where I was getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, going to a bar method class, and then I was going to work. And my favorite part of the 6 a.m. class on a Friday was the fact that it was 80s Friday. So I kid you not, I used to wear a side ponytail, leg warmers, and I always had a fanny pack or a bum bag, as we call it here in the UK. So I used to love doing that. It was a highlight and it was so much fun. But let me know if you guys have been working out, if you guys do yoga, Pilates, or even the bar method. I'll be so jealous if somebody out there does the bar method because it is so much fun. But anyway, look at that kitchen. Isn't it just beautiful? So I did go ahead and I did use the reclaimed wood backsplash, and I've really been digging that lately. I know I've been using that quite a lot. I did go ahead and use the cutting board trick here in the kitchen, and actually the cutting board trick, I think I discovered it here before I did in another build that I did. Was it my 10-minute build renovation that I did no, I can't remember where I did the cutting board thing. Wow, I really can't remember, and it wasn't that long ago. But anyway, this is where I first did it, and I thought, oh, I'm going to use it again because it just looks so dang good. And then I've got a little open shelving unit. I wish we had more shelves in The Sims 3. I know I can go and download custom content, but but cabinets in The Sims 3 for custom content can kind of be a little bit hokey. So I try to stay away from them. In fact, I try to stay away from build buy custom content because I would just fall down a rabbit hole if I did that. And I don't want to do that to my game or my poor little Feeny, my little computer. I don't want to do that to him. So I've decided to stay away from build buy custom content. But yeah, so here we are in the living room. Of course, I've got my favorite chair from 70s, 80s, and 90s stuff pack. I did switch out the sofas and the armchair that I had from the store just so I can make it a little bit more accessible so you wouldn't have to replace things if you didn't necessarily have that store content in your game, because I want to try to make my builds accessible for more people. I know it probably makes more sense to have custom content because that's easy to find and it's free, but yeah, like I just said, I would just get so lost in the custom content for build and buy. So I went with a chair from Diesel, and I think the leather sofa is from University, and then of course my favorite from 70s, 80s, and 90s stuff pack, which I've made a checkered color. Is that checkered? Was that what you would call it? I don't know what that pattern's called. I'm really bad with naming patterns, but I made that into a red, and you can see that I've got dark red accent walls. So I've used it here in the dining room, I used it in the living room, and then I'm also going to use it in his little shag pad where all the magic happens. So it is in his bedroom as well. And I just think that little pop of red, that deep red, really, really works. I actually I can't say I love deep red, but I really like this deep red because it's not like that bright primary color red. That's the color red that I just can't be dealing with. It's really difficult. So yeah, just decorating things up, recoloring. He's got some wine racks there. I don't know, Hal maybe seems more like a beer type of sim. Not really a nectar or a champagne type of sim or a wine sim, but you know, it fits with this. I feel like this is a very swanky bachelor pad, and I love it. I dig it. But you guys can let me know what you think down below in the comments. We are getting so very close to the end of this video and the screenshots. Make sure to stick around because there are an absolute boatload of them. But I think I'm going to love you and leave you guys with some music. I want to say a big thank you for you guys for being patient with this Let's Renovate Riverview because it has been a while. I can only apologize for that. It just took me a while to find a little bit of style, something that I thought would suit Hal and his favorites, his wants and his needs. So I do apologize for that. Thank you guys so much for sticking through with me to the end of this video if you guys are still here. If not, am I just rambling to myself? Let me know if you're still here at this point in the video. Comment down below. Say like fuzzy slippers or something if you're still here and you've watched to this point. Fuzzy slippers. That's what I want to know down below in the comments. But anyway, like I said, going to love you and leave you guys with some music. Make sure to stick around for the screenshots. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to do all those cool interweb things like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you've got that bell ding dong so you're notified whenever I do upload. But for now, I'm gonna skedaddle. Don't be a plum stranger now, guys. Bye!